And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to look at Grimoire Shuffle. It's from Level 99 Games. It's for 4 or 6 players. It's a medium weight card game. And it comes in the minigame library, which has multiple games, about 6 games to play with. So let's take a look at this version of the minigame library, see how it's played, and see what I think. In Grimoire Shuffle, what you're trying to do is get to the end of the library, grab a trophy, and once the blue team or the red team has as many trophies as players there are in the game, that player wins. So now we have a setup here for 4 players. We have a blue team and a red team. Here is the blue leader and the blue team showing he's going this way. This is him right here. We have the red leader here. He's part of the red team and he's going this way here. This person here is from the blue team and he's going here using this. And this person's sitting here going the red team, and he's this one going this way. So both red teams are going this way. As you can see, they start here. They're going in the direction of the cards. And the blue team are using the blue and the green pawn, and they're both going in that direction. But they're sitting, every other person is blue and red team as they sit around the table. So as the game starts, both leaders will take however many Grimoire Shuffle cards, one more than how many players there are on their team. So they have 2 players, one in themselves and someone else, so they'll take 3 cards. And they're going to give, they're going to look at these cards and they're going to give 1 to their teammate. They're going to place 1 on the opposite leader, and they're going to give the last one to themselves. And the red player will do the same thing. They'll give 1 to their teammate, they'll give 1 to the other leader, and they'll keep 1 for themselves. So let's flip the leader's card first and see what their leader's ability is. So here we look at just the leader because it's the leader's card. And as we can see, it says, as soon as each player's turn begins, he flips an adjacent room. And for the blue leader, he flips his. And it says, at the start of a player's turn, he trades places with any apprentice 3 or few spaces away if able to. So starting with the player to the left of the leaders, they go first. They flip over their Grimoire card, and what we can see here is its energy. First we rotate a room, then we move ourselves any number of spaces in a straight line, then we move ourselves any number of spaces in a straight line again. So if you remember, the leader is, as soon as a player's turn begins, he flips an adjacent room. So the red person's here. Let's say he flips an adjacent room. Now he can rotate a room, and when you rotate, you do it at 180 degrees. So let's say he just rotates this room. And when you're on the edge here, you can go on any 3 of these cards here. So we rotate a room, we move ourselves any number of spaces in a straight line. So probably this person, now we can see these are blocked. Anywhere you see bookshelves, you can't get through. So maybe he goes here, and then here. And that's the end of his turn. And then he passes this back to his leader. Now the blue person's card is move each other, it's a sand. Move each other's apprentice up to 1 space, and then move yourselves up to 2 spaces for each apprentice moved in step 1. So he can move this other one 1, and so he can go now 2 spaces because he's moved 1 person. And so this person is going to go 1, 2. Keep in mind that the leader's ability is at the start of a turn, he trades places with an apprentice 3 or few spaces away, but there isn't anybody. So now the leader goes, and he has electricity. Move any apprentice up to 2 spaces, and then switch the position of your current room with one of the room adjacent to it. So move any apprentice up to 2 spaces. Maybe he can go 1, 2, and then he can switch the position of my current room. Well, he's not in the current room. So he goes like that. And finally, the blue player would go, the leader, sand. He would use his card here, fire. Place the burned room on top of any space. Well, the burned room is not here yet. Move each apprentice in the burned room up to 3 spaces. Well, there's no burned room out here, so this would not do anything. And at the end of the round, the one that's on the leader's badge goes to a discard pile, and they get 1 more card to replace it. And then the leader to the right, which is the red leader, they take their cards, and their leader badge, and they flop over the blue leader to the other next red team. This blue leader stays the same, so each leader after this will now have 2 turns as a leader. At the end of the next round, this blue person will hop over here, and the leader will go there. The round after that, this one will hop. So they keep hopping like that, and now we keep going, and we keep playing another round, just as I just showed you. So what happens when someone gets to the end? Well, let's say that this red person somehow went through here, up through here, and got to the end. When they get to the end, they get to take the card that they had. Let's say this was the person. The card that they used, what they do is they keep it over here for a trophy. They take 2 cards, they pick one of them to give back to the leader, and the other one goes down here. And so they keep this as a trophy, and the first team that gets 4 trophies, in this case because it's a 4-player game, wins. Now they would switch this, so this red person's now going back the other way. And you keep doing this until each team has 1 trophy for the amount of players. Let's show you some of the grimoires here to show you what the different things that you have to think about. So illusion, move up to 3 spaces in a straight line, ignoring walls. 2, move another apprentice up to 2 spaces away in a straight line, ignoring walls. Transformer, move yourself up to 4 spaces, ignoring walls. Move another apprentice up to 2 spaces, ignoring walls. Machine, flip up to 2 rooms, rotate up to 2 rooms, then move yourself up to 2 spaces. Crystal, swap the positions of any 2 adjacent rooms, then rotate a room, then move yourself any number of spaces in a straight line. We'll do one more. Time, move yourself up to 2 spaces, and then choose room other than your current room. Move every apprentice in that room 4 spaces. So you can see there's all different things between flipping rooms, moving, sometimes you move before, sometimes you move after. And you've got to look and see which is the most efficient way for you and your team to move through the library without getting stuck. Alright, well there's Grimoire Shuffle. So what do I think about this game? Well, if I look at it in the realm of the minigame library, I see where it fits. They're trying to get different games that suit different needs, different levels of players, different numbers of players. So in that respect, I see why this game fits in the minigame library. Now, as a standalone game, it only plays 4 or 6, so you're going to be quite limited as to when you can play this game because you only need those 2 player counts. Setting up the game is pretty easy. Getting through it's pretty easy. I didn't think that, it's labeled as a medium weight game, and it was kind of more of a light game. But what I didn't like about the game was that when you got a card, you basically had that 1 card. And yes, the leaders are figuring out which ones to give you and things like that, and there's some strategy from the leaders. But when you're not a leader and you have 1 card, you pretty much have to do those 3 actions. And I wish there was sort of some more choices to be made. And yes, you can figure out which ones to do and things like that. But overall, going backwards, going forwards, changing the leaders around, that was all good. I liked how the leader kind of moved, and you got to be a leader for 2 turns, and the leader kind of flopped around. I liked how you went to one way, then you go in the other way. But overall, it was just for me, it was just a mediocre. It was an okay game. It didn't blow my socks off. With the limited amount of players, kind of took it down a notch too. I see why it's in the library. It kind of fits sort of, I guess, a specific niche of a number of players and time to play and things like that. But as a standalone game, I probably wouldn't be the first one I pulled out. Didn't love it. For me, it was just a mediocre, okay game.
So much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.